This is your Filmmaker here, and this is the Rode Wireless Pro. It's a dual wireless transmitter system that records 32-bit float files internally while recording a backup track on your camera. Has a built-in timecode generator for linking audio in post and comes with two lavalier microphones with locking 3.5mm jacks. Has a built-in headphone amplifier for monitoring transmitters, can be controlled almost completely without an external application. It comes with a charging case with up to 21 hours of power to take you through a day's shoot. Now let's roll intro. It's been like roughly 7 months since I bought and returned the Rode Wireless Go 2s. And if you watched the video where I asked if Rode was hiding something, I talked about why this may not really be the ideal setup, even though Rode mentions a technique we should use. Let's find out if it does work as expected. Please just know that I'm not a Rode hater. I just want to keep things as plain as they should be. Now, I must admit that this is an amazing new audio kit from Rode. But first, a disclaimer, Rode did not send me the Wireless Pro for this review. I got this because I am keen about 32-bit audio and the prospect of having timecode for easy syncing in post. That being said, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do. And don't forget to hit the like button, as you know it does help. In the box, you're going to find two small zipper cases and a USB-C cable. First case is a charging case that houses a Rode Wireless Pro receiver and two transmitters. It has a built-in battery as expected. The second almost identical case holds all the accessories, including two Rode lavalier microphones, their phone covers, and colored labels, which is great. You also find cables for both Lightning and USB-C devices, a 3.5mm male-to-male coiled cable, two magnet mounting kits for the transmitter which slide onto the cold shoe mount, and then have an included magnet that you can put on the other side of your shirt to mount these to your clothing, and then wind muffs for the two lavs that simply slip over the microphone capsule. Now for the transmitter themselves, which can be inserted on the top of the microphone and then rotated to lock in place, and finally there is a cleaning cloth included. I'm pleased to see that the case can charge the transmitters and the receiver. I wonder why Rode didn't think of making it a one-all case that can fit all the accessories. If it's looking taller, maybe that could have been a problem, or maybe make it a little bit wider. That could have been a way to go, but personally, having to carry an extra case isn't really my thing. Now let's talk about the transmitter and receiver units that are really the heart of this kit. Now starting with the transmitters, they boot up really quick, which I really like. They maintain the same square shape as the previous generations and have this glossy-like finish. The Rode transmitters also have 3 LED lights with one at the bottom for power. This is really handy, allowing you to quickly glance and get an idea of how much juice is left. We also have different colors for our top right LEDs. The first being a link indicator and the second being a record indicator which turns red when you activate recording. Now speaking of recordings, there's a new button on the transmitter at the top which can be used to start and stop recordings, which is convenient. This makes the transmitters of this kit a completely self-contained little recorder. So if you don't want to wirelessly transmit anything, you can just take the one device out into the field and record high quality audio. Another new thing is the 3.5mm jack on the transmitters. They now have a threaded connector, so you're sure of no accidental disconnect, and this works with my other threaded mics from other brands. Aside that, the rest of the transmitter body reminds me of the Wireless Go, which I had to return due to terrible static noise. Now onto the receiver. You notice that the buttons and jacks are the same as the Go 2s, but the interface looks very different, and you can now control a lot more without using a phone or computer in the Rode Central app, something I despise with the Wireless Go 2s. You can see whatever you do with the buttons on the screen, so you can easily see what is happening. For example, on the main page, we have the level control on the left button as seen on the screen when pressed. We can use the left and right buttons to change our levels up and down, and after a second, we are sent back to the main screen where we can press both buttons to enter the MS or merge and split menu. So you can do a lot more without having a phone or computer to jump into the app and connecting this over USB-C. There's still some things that you can only access in the Rode Central app, but once you get things set up on the Rode Central app, you really have to go back in there unless you're going to be making big timecode changes. But for the most part, you can now control everything on the receiver once you have your first setup complete, which is great. Now to the main feature of the new Wireless Pro, and that is going to be internal 32-bit float recording on both transmitters. Each transmitter has 32 gigs of internal storage, allowing you to record up to 44 hours of 32-bit float audio internally. When you connect the transmitters back to your computer, you can directly import to your editing software which is great as you no longer need to use the Rode Central app to export custom files. It now works at an internal storage where you can just grab the WAV files directly off the storage. Although, if you want, you can use the Rode Central app to create any file type you need. So even in the 32-bit float file, you want to normalize your audio, you can do that in the Rode Central app and export those files for use anywhere. You need to use your Rode Central app to update the devices, obviously, but also to format the storage, which I don't really like. If you want to start afresh, you're going to need to use the app for that. Lastly, we have just the actual quality of these 32-bit float files, and I can say that this is what I've been waiting for. So now I have one of the Rode Wireless Pro transmitters turned on. I'm going to hit the record button, which is just at the top. And I'm going to shout into the mic. I hope that I'm able to correct this in post. This is the first time using 32-bit audio. Hey, hey, hey. I'm screaming. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I have no wind muffler on it, so it probably sound off, but I just want to test and see if the 32-bit audio feature does work well. I never used 32-bit audio files before, so I just leave it here. It is now easy to use this and not have to worry about any kind of distortion. The Pro Kit also supports gain assist, which is Rode's auto gain control. Another feature is that the Rode Wireless Pro receiver has two output options, 3.5mm or USB-C. This can be used in several different ways, but there's also a headphone amplifier built into the receiver. This means you can go into the gain mode setting and switch it from manual to headphone or even headset. This is perfect if you want to monitor your transmitters and only plan on using the 32-bit float internal recordings. In fact, you could connect the receiver to your headphones and you can have like a wireless headset for monitoring your audio without any cables. A 3.5mm can also be used as an input with headsets or microphones that have TRRS connector. Now, this is only going to work in situations where the USB is used as the output. So if the receiver is connected to the computer or other device that accepts audio via USB-C. As if 32-bit recordings weren't enough, the Pros now support Timecode, which is crazy. Timecode is generated on the Pro receiver, and you can turn this feature on in the Rode Central app with the receiver connected and change settings like the frame rate, free run versus time of day, and choose from several different timecode output modes. The receiver will wirelessly transmit timecode to both transmitters, so note you will need to keep all devices on and connected for timecode to remain accurate. The timecode signal from the receiver is sent out over a 3.5mm connection to your camera. So it's important to know if your camera has the ability to take timecode input. And if your camera can recognize timecode input signal, you don't have to worry because you can use a 3.5mm jack to send timecode audio into your camera. That will be recorded to your file and various editing software that can read and turn it into timecode, or at least translate it as timecode. The receiver can also be used as a jam sync, so you could go ahead and plug this into your multiple cameras at the start of your shoot day. This will supply timecode to all your cameras throughout the day. You've got timecode running, and Rode recommends every 4 hours to reconnect or rejam your timecode. So remember to reconnect that 3.5mm to each of your cameras to make sure timecode is perfectly synced. Just know that you are using the receiver to tell your other cameras or devices what the timecode is. On the receiver, if you don't care about the receiver's audio, you can just send timecode over the USB and 3.5mm audio. If you want timecode and audio, there is a way of having audio on one track and timecode on the other channel, or vice versa. Now for range and distance, Rode says that the Wireless Pro has a range of up to 260 meters or around 850 feet. I'll not be doing a long distance test for this video, although I intend to do one when I compare it with the landmarks from Holy Land. So if you're not subscribed, this is an opportunity to do so you don't miss when I put out that video. I've been loving the landmarks due to its crystal clear audio and noise cancelling feature. Will this replace that? Well, we'll see. Now for the test I carried out in my last video, there were some drift over time. So let's test this now to see if there's going to be any drift over 10 minutes. I'll put the clock in front of my camera so no one complains like last time. So guys, right now we're going to do the timecode test. I have the Wireless Pro receiver and that's the time on it. I don't know if you can read it. I also have a clock on the iPad which is to my left. to make this test fair, as there were complaints on my previous video. I have the 6K Pro and the Blackmagic 4K, which I'll be jamming with Timecode from the Wireless Pro device. I also have the GH5. We'll be recording the screens of the 6K Pro and the 4K and the clock, so there's no one to complain of discrepancies. So first off, let's jam sync the 6K Pro. It is ready. So what you see on the Wireless Pro is what you see on the 6K Pro. And I'll jam sync the 4K and 19 hours, 40 minutes, 27 seconds. I think they're fairly even. And we'll come back in 10 minutes. Now it's 2 minutes, 19 seconds. We'll come back when it's 12 minutes and see if there is any drift. So we're back, and it's roughly over 11 minutes and say 15 seconds now. And since this has been on, I doubt there'll be any drift. But if there are any drift, I'll only be able to see that when I put this on my timeline and pause the GH5 recording. Hopefully there's no drift. Hopefully it's how Rode has advised, that we resync or rejam our cameras every 4 hours. So if it's after every 4 hours, that's great from Rode. But should you pay $399 for this? It's up to you. 32-bit is good. There's actually no other brand out there that offers internal recording of 32 gigabytes. The only thing I despise about this device is that you have to use the app to configure a few things. But like I said, once you've done configuring it, it reduces what you need to do in the app. But another thing I've also noticed with this device, with the Rode Wireless Pro, is that when I connect it to my iPad, in fact, this could be an opportunity to show this. If I'm to connect the Rode Wireless Pro directly to my iPad, it doesn't pop up as a separate storage. I'm going to use the Rode 5 gigabit 60 watt cable. You can see that's the one from Rode. I'll connect it to my iPad here. I'll put the device. So both transmitters are in the case, as you can see. I'll plug the case in using the recommended cable. And does it pop up? I doubt it does pop up. Nope, it does not pop up. So I don't know why I'm having this issue. I don't know if you would have the same issue. So maybe Rode needs to look at this and fix this issue. It does pop up on my MacBook Pro when I plug it in without having to open the app. At first, when I tried doing that, it didn't work. I had to open the app, close it, open the app, close it. So it works as an internal storage, as they've said, as they advertise. I haven't tried it on my mobile phone yet, but that's the experience I'm having. I don't know if you guys are having the same issues. But for battery life, Rode still offers 7 hours, but you can charge the Pro while in use to extend this if needed. And the new 4200 mAh charge case makes charging easy. It can fully charge the entire kit from 0 to 100% 2 times before it needs to be recharged, giving you a total of 21 hours of power before you need to connect to an external power source. You are now able to connect all 3 devices to the Rode Central app, which makes it really easy to quickly make changes across everything, and this can all be used on the app with a computer or on your phone. So if you just want to connect your phone or iPad to the case and make changes to everything, you can do that, which is easy and a better option to the earlier generations. Now for the things I don't like about this device. I think Rode should have made the case capable of housing everything. When I say everything, I see no point not being able to carry all the mics with accessories in one case. If it being too tall was a problem, maybe it could have been a bit wider. I also wish that there was on-the-go ANC, which is environmental noise cancelling. There is no touchscreen. Having touchscreen would have made navigating the menu options quicker and faster, especially with how much the device costs. Then some dedicated buttons to activate the timecode functions. While cycling through them, which would also eliminate the need for the app. But please don't get me wrong here. With just 32-bit alone, they are an incredible tool, which when you throw in timecode and the charging case and the two fantastic included lavalier microphones, and the fact that this can be used with phones, tablets, computers for podcasting, for filmmaking, YouTube videos, with any microphone is great. I want to thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and leave a like on this video. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.